So, hey guys, welcome back to the video. In the previous videos, we were learning about dictionaries and arguments. We studied about how can we make a dictionary or how can we perform or create a dictionary in Python. Then we learned about how can we do particular arguments and how can we perform arguments, how arguments works whenever we cause them and things like that. So in today's video, we will be learning about arguments, like types of arguments, like arbitrary arguments, default arguments, okay, positional arguments, and sort of things like that. So for moving forward, let's first have a look, little bit a sneak peek at what we learned till now. So you can see that in the last video we completed till here, we learned about the functions. We learned that how can we define a function calling diff main, and then whenever we calls it, that time the function works, right? Now for today's lecture, let's create a new file and we'll name it as keywords.py. Okay, so let's do one thing. Like for the first part of the video, let's start with by understanding what is positional arguments, right? So here I'll name it as positional arguments. Okay. So what exactly is positional arguments, or what we understand by a positional argument? So as you can see by its name, that it will be some sort of related to the position, like what exactly is the position, right? So in positional argument, suppose I'll write here as define, I want to create a sum of integers. So I'll create add numbers, or let's just do directly one thing. We'll write numbers. Okay. Inside numbers, let's just create, suppose I want two variables like n1 and n2, right? So these two are the variables which I have given inside an argument, right? And now what I have to do here is I want to create a function called sum. Like what it will perform is whenever I will give the values, it will just add 1 comma 2, right? It does like that, and then it will return the value whatsoever will be the value of our sum. Okay, so this is what our function does. Now let's just do one thing. For example, let's create variable like I want marks. Suppose I will say marks. I want to calculate the marks which I got in two subjects, right? That is number. Inside number, now what I will do here is I will give it, suppose two variables. I want to give a number in decimal, that is float, right? Suppose I want to give it a number that 5.7 comma I want to add something about 9.7, right? So these are the two numbers which I have given. I want the sum of these numbers. Technically it's easy, but just for basic purposes I'm telling it out like that. Now what I will do here is I will just print as result, sorry, print as marks, whatever is the marks is. Now let's just do one thing. Let's run it. Let's just run it like that. See, as you can see here is that it's giving us the value like 15.399999, like till infinite, right? So that's exactly what our function is giving. So what is happening here? This particular, let me remove this one. It's of no use actually, right? So as the name suggests, it's a positional argument. Like we have defined a position, like there are two elements, n1 and n2, and the position of n1 is 5.7 and n2 is 9.7. So this is what a positional statement is all about, right? Let's just do one thing. Let's do a little bit changes here as well. Like the result of your child is, suppose I want to give them the result, right? So I want to give them the marks. Now let's do one thing. We'll run it, right? So some error came, right? What it says? It says that can only concatenate string, not float to string, right? It means that the marks which we have given is in float, but we cannot concatenate a string with a float. We want to make it a string. So what we can do here is we'll just write it like str and we'll make it an str. What will happen now? Our marks has been changed into a string instead of float, and you can see our code is working right fine, right? So this is what a positional argument. Now moving on further, let's understand one more argument, that is default argument. Default argument, right? So same things we can do here is default argument as well. That is, in default argument, suppose I will define marks, right? I want marks, but in the marks, what I will do here is n1 equals to 20, right? N1 equals to 20, and suppose I want to give it n2 equals to 300, right? I have given it like that. Now, what I will do here is I will just write everything as the same, like sum equals to n1 plus n2. Return, I have to return the sum, whatsoever will be the sum here is, right? I have to return the sum. Now, what I will do here is first of all, I will create a variable called suppose result. This result equals to, I will here call my marks, right? Inside that, I will give a value, like I want a value of 6.66, or let's just do one thing, let's give it a 6.6, right? And then I'll print it. So what exactly according to you guys should happen? Like I have created a function. I have already assigned the values in the function, like n1 equals to 20 and n2 equals to 300, right? Now, what should happen? Now I have given it a sum like n1 plus n2, right? And I want that it should return sum. Now, let's just do one thing. We'll run it, right? And let's see what exactly is going to happen. So you can see here is that it says function marks at something it's saying, right? Let's just do one thing. Firstly, let's comment it out. And now let's just focus on it, like what exactly it's saying. Okay, so it says let's just print the result. Sorry, we don't want marks to get printed. We want the result should be printed because we are adding things in the result, right? Let's just restart it. So what the value it gave is 306.6. Now you guys will be asking like why 306, because we have given it 20 and 300. Where is that 20? So what happened here is I have given a value. I have decided a default value, but here as you can see I gave one value, so it automatically went to the n1 and it changed the value. So directly the n1 became 6.6 and the n2 we didn't give, so it took the default value, that is 300. So ultimately it gave it a answer. Like let's just do one thing. If I will not write a single thing also, and if I will do it, clearly is saying 320, right? But if I would have given it suppose 10 20, right, and then I would have run it, then it would have given the 30. So this is what a by default argument is all about. By its name you can understand that we are assigning a default value in that argument, so it is called as default argument. Just in case, right, to avoid some sort of errors, people assigns the value by default, right? Now moving on further, let's understand one more type of argument, that is keyword argument. Keyword arguments, we don't want anything to get exported from here, right? So let's just remove it. Okay, so this is our keyword argument. Now what is a keyword argument? Keyword argument is, like you can see by its name suggests. Let me just do one thing first. Firstly, let me write a code so that it should be better understandable for you guys, right? at what exactly I'm trying to say. Okay, so I have defined. Now I will do here is I want that we should get greetings, right? So what I will do here is firstly I will write a name, then I'll write a message. So like this I have created a function, right? It says greeting and it has two things inside of it, that is name and message. Now I want that it should print my name, that is firstly it should print hello, then with hello it should print my name, right? And it should also print some message which I want it to print. Like what should be the message? We'll decide it. Firstly, let me. Okay. So what I can do here is I will write greetings. Okay. Inside greetings, I will firstly write my name, that is Mo. Okay. So there I have written my name here, and now it's asking me to write the message. So I can write how are you or something like that. Right? So what I have exactly written here is firstly I have created a function that has greetings and it has two things, that is name and message. Then I have printed a statement that is hello with my name, with whatever name I will be giving it. Then it's printing again another sentence that is a message, whatever, still the message is also the same which I will be giving it, right? Now let's just run the code to see how it will be working out. uh, it's running. You can see it's printing like hello Amok, how are you? It's asking the question, right? It's it's working just fine. Like see hello Amok, how are you? So this is what a type of argument. We will not say it keyword exactly, right? But it is also one kind of argument, right? Now understanding about the keyword arguments in little, you can say, understanding about the keyword arguments in little depth, right? That is args. Whatever we calls an args, it is a non-keyword argument. Right? Now, what is an args? So an arg is specially represented by a star. You can say like this. Like this, it is represented by single args, right? And it is used to pass variables, or you can say the number of arguments in a function, right? Let me just do one thing. Instead of telling you the more, instead of telling you the theory part, let's just focus on to code so that you guys can better understand it. For simple thing, you can just keep that in mind, that the arbitrary arguments are also called as args, and keyword arguments are called as kwargs, right? Like this you can understand, right? Now, like, there is just one thing that you should be knowing, that if you don't know how many arguments that will be passed into your function, then you can add an args before the parameter. This way it will receive a tuple of arguments, right? And it can be accessed accordingly. Like if you are giving multiple arguments, then it will be it will be adjusting itself according to it, right? Let me just do one thing. I'll write a quick example. Okay, so here for args, let's just write an example. Suppose I'll write def fun. Okay, inside func, what I will write here is I will give a hits. I just wrote a star, and inside star I wrote kids, because see, kids can be multiple, and I cannot simply define that there will be one single, two single kids. Like suppose you want to create a list of full students in the class, right? So you cannot write the numbers, right? At the function one, function two, function three. You can just write a star and a kids. That means it will be having multiple sets of function. Now let's just do one thing. We'll print it. Inside printing, what I will do here is I will write that suppose the smallest kid the smallest kid is, that will be someone, then I'll pass a plus. that, what I will write here is I will write kids, and we will be using here two. And I hope you guys knows this, right? That why we have written two here, because we are denoting a child that is on the third position, right? In the list or in the dictionaries, or you can say like that. Now let's just do one thing. We'll define func func as we will define a func as, suppose there are two kids in like that, we can define multiple kids, right? Let's just do one thing. We'll write one more kid, that is T, and one more kid, that is E. Okay, and we'll close it. Okay, so what we have done here is we have wrote some kids. Is it C, VHD, CAA, anything. I'm just not getting the words right, so I'm just writing like that. So we have given multiple arguments in a function, right? Let's just run it and we'll see how it's working, whether it's working or not. So what it says here, that the smallest kid uh, in this particular group, or you can write in this particular group, is the smallest kid in this particular group is, and I've written kid, and that is 2. So 2 means that it indexes, that is 0, 0th index, and first and second. Second index means CAA. So what it says, that the CAA is the smallest. So this is what an arbitrary argument is about. Like, it's just we have to add a star. It means that it will be adjusting its a number of arguments according to your cohorts which you will be adding inside of it, right? Now, moving on further, we will be getting to know about that there is one more argument, and it's similar, sort of. That is keyword argument, or you can say we basically calls it as kwargs. Not that one, kwargs. Like that. See, in kwargs, the thing is you can also send an argument with the key and value syntax. This way, the order of arguments does not matter. Right? Let's just do one thing. I'll give you a better example of that. Let's just start by simply creating a function, that is define, then I'll create function. Okay, inside the function, what I will write here is I will write child, child 2, 3 actually, child 3, then I'll write child 4 or child 9, 8, whatever. Then I'll write child 5. Okay. Similarly, I can just, paste it, and I'll change number as 1 or 7. I have created a function basically in which I have given a child. Okay. What is it says? Expected indented block. What is indented block? This is indented block, right? Mm-hmm. Sort of issues happening here. We'll just write it like that. Oh, so it looks little cool. Okay, we'll close the bracket here, and then we'll write an indentation, and let's just focus on writing that will be print, right? And print, we will be printing something like the purest child among all is, we can write like that, right? Now I want that the child should be, which whatever child should be the cutest will be, like, suppose I want child 1, like, should be the cutest one, right? So in this kwargs, or you can say keyword arguments, the order does not matter, right? I have written 3, 8, 5, 1, 7, and I have given child 1, which is in the middle, but still it's not showing any sort of error. Now let's just we'll just copy paste this one so that we don't have to write it again and again. And copy paste. Okay, so these are 5 and 5. Yeah, done. We'll just comment this one so that it should not get printed, right? And we'll run it. What it says, okay, it says maybe we have written here. No, not really actually. See, you can see here is it what it's saying. It says the cutest child among all is DQQ. Why DQQ? Let's have a look. Child 3 is AXC, child 8 is BSD, and similarly CAA, and child 1 is DQQ. So what I have written here is the cutest child among all is child 1, or you can say DQQ. So this is what an argument. It is not at all affected by the listing which I have given it. Like, see, I have not given it a proper listing, but it's not showing any sort of error or something like that, right? So this is what a keyword argument is all about. See, these things are not that important for Python, oh sorry, for Django, but you should be having a basic knowledge of that so that it it should be in your mind, maybe in the future upcoming projects when we will be dealing with multiple queries, multiple functions. That time it should not create a confusion between you all, like I was not knowing or I was not aware about that. So for that we are covering it, right? I hope you are understanding it, but still if you are not understanding, then do tell me, right? So this was our kwargs. Now let's cover our last one, that is keyword arbitrary keyword arguments. That is also called arbitrary, right? Arguments. So we have written here arbitrary keyword arguments, or it's denoted as something like that. Yeah, it's denoted like kwargs. This one. So in this, if you don't know, you can say there is it's just a mixture of both, the one which I have taught you. Like if you don't know how many arguments will be there, then you can use args. And if you don't know whether it will be listed properly or it will be sorted properly or not, then you use a kwargs. So mix it and it will be arbitrary keyword argument. That's just like that. It's not even that much difficult, right? If I will show you an example, you will be understanding it better, right? Suppose I will define a function and I'll name it as my func. Okay, inside my func, I want, suppose it's like 2 stars and I want kids. Fine. Sorry, if it's a function like that. Now I'll print. I want it to be printed. So what exactly should be printed there, right? Let's just do one thing. We'll print something like his height is the smallest among all. What I have written here is that out of the students, which is, or out of the kids which is present there, this particular kid has the smallest height, right? So let's just do one thing. We'll write it like kid, and then we'll write, oh, sorry, we'll write a square bracket and say square bracket. We can do one thing, yeah. To give you a better example, we can just do one thing is we can write, suppose uh, last name. So whoever kid will be having the last name, that kid has the smallest height. So what I can do here is I'll write my func, okay, and inside that my func, I will create like an f name, okay. F name will be suppose ABC, okay, and last name will be XYZ. So this is our XYZ, right? Now we'll run it. Just put it into inside code so that it should not get an error, right? Yeah. Kid, it will be S here. Okay. Now it will work just fine. Hmm. So our function, what it says that suppose there is a kid, right? Or you can say that if I create a multiple function like last name, many people has a last name of something like you know X Z or ZY. What it says positional argument cannot appear after keyword argument, right? So we have already given it a keyword argument. Keyword argument means that our list is not in a sorted way, but we cannot define a positional argument because positional argument it's fixed. Means if A equals to A, then A will be equals to A. It should not be equals to B. It's like that. You can understand an easy example. So we cannot do that. So just to give you a common example, what I have written here is I have written a kid name, whoever last name is available has the smallest height. And if I will run it, it will be saying like, see, his height is the smallest among all XZ. His height, not his name. In the his height, here I can write as like that. I can write F name as well, right? Kids inside the kids, I'll write F whatever value it's stored inside of F name should appear here. Yeah, like that. Oh, let's run it, see whether it's running or not. Like yes, you can see it's running perfectly. It says that now let's run it again. Now I have corrected the grammar as well. It says the height of ABC is the smallest among all XZ. And now you will be getting a better idea, like what a kwarg is or default argument is or a positional argument is, right? If you still faces any doubt, then there is nothing to worry, right? There are lots of sources available online. You can even refer to the Geeks for Geeks arg one as well. Like you can just type it here as args, like you can type it as args and kwargs in Python. You can just type it like args and kwargs in Python, and it will be making this up. In the beginning, only there is a website of Geeks for Geeks where you can clear all your doubts and all, right? It by this doing this, you will be getting an idea exactly if by chance you didn't understood. But trust me, if you watch the video completely, I can assure you that whatever I have taught, it's more than enough for you throughout this Django journey that you will not be needing to learn more about this, right? Now, let's just do one thing. We'll wrap up for today's video, right? If you have any doubts and queries, then do comment out. And I'll see you in another one with our classes and objects in which we will be learning about Python classes and object. Till then, see ya, have a great day and take care. Bye bye.